Hello, gorgeous, and welcome to this week's Astro Tea of what's happening celestially. I am Ethereal Mother, your favorite artist, psychic, and astrologer. So let's get into the astrology of October, and it's already looking a little wild. We have Mercury sliding into Scorpio on October 6th, and the energy is going to be very intense. It's going to be probing and a little nosy, but I think if this is a time where you want to dig up the truth in a situation, this is it. This is the one. So Mercury in Scorpio is like the detective of the zodiac. It wants to investigate and uncover secrets, and it's very similar to shining a light in the dark, basically. Scorpio specifically is about psychology, human behavior, and even criminology, and even the underworld, so that you can kind of uncover a lot of hidden gems. And so on one side, it can feel very dark, heavy, obsessive, but on the flip side, it can feel like, wait, I just discovered a hidden strength that I did not know was there, or a brilliant idea, or something like that. So it can definitely be very beneficial depending on how you utilize this energy, or how you just perceive it, I guess is the best way to say it. And so definitely think of like walking into a dark room, you think you see a monster in the corner, but it's actually just a pile of your laundry that you really need to fold. And so Mercury in Scorpio, you definitely have to look closer instead of assuming what you think you see, and actually get into the details of what is actually there. And Mercury is very good about looking into the details. Also, Mercury does not feel super comfortable in Scorpio. However, I think that it's very interesting because Mercury, or Hermes in Greek mythology, had the capability of going to Mount Olympus, but he could also go down to the underworld, which is very Scorpio, or Pluto, or Hades in Greek mythology. So all of those things are greatly interconnected. So Mercury can really help you look into the depths of a specific situation, your own psychology, someone else's psychology, or something like that. To kind of like, even I kind of think of it as if you're dating someone and it's like something doesn't feel right. Maybe I need to investigate. Maybe I just need to simply ask more questions, be a bit more curious, Mercury, to see what I'm going to get. And there could be specific red flags that crop up, but also there's this moment of, am I going to ignore these red flags, or am I going to separate myself from the situation to prevent her further, drama or toxicity? And so this could be a very good time for journalists, or whistleblowers, or even crime junkies. And don't be surprised if you see a lot of major secrets, come to the surface, like scandals, investigations. Like one in particular that actually cropped up recently, which I think is a great example for Mercury and Scorpio, is Robert John May III. And he was born October 18th, 1986. And I'm going to make his picture nice and big so you know who this person is. So he is a part of the Republican Party, and he just got in trouble recently because people have found a lot of child abusive content on his computer, by investigating, looking at his, they found they found it based on his IP address, basically. And so I think that that's very interesting, because one, I feel like the Republicans have these very specific talking points that they always reference. And I find it interesting because it's like how would you describe it? It's like a look over there type of moment. It's like, oh, look at what the gay people are doing. Oh, trans people are, from the pits of hell. Or oh, the drag queens are doing terrible things to your children. Come to find out, it's the Republicans. I feel like this is one of the long list of stories that we have heard over the past few months that has been very incriminating, basically. And we have the evidence to show that, they're very into, a lot of the Republicans are very into dark things. And so I feel like all of this information coming up about Robert Jane May it's so in line with Mercury and Scorpio. Like they just had to investigate a little bit, and they found a lot of information that, all of this information that they needed to put him away in jail. It's possible that he could be facing a maximum of 20 years in prison. I hope he gets every single ounce of those 20 years, but since he is a white man in America, he probably won't. And also, I wanted to make a quick connection to this other story that I had, which was his sweet little face. So, his name is Shakir Everett, and he is 11 years old, just a sweet little baby. So, what happened was he was at school, and one of his classmates brought a loaded gun to the school. And so, because of different things that he learned going hunting with his family members, he was able to take the gun away and disarm and dismantle the weapon and discard the bullets as well. So, I thought that was such a beautiful thing. I think he deserves a key to the city and a medal, but instead, they suspended him for a year. So, all of these things kind of shed light on the fact that one, your children need the utmost protection. They really do. Even if you don't have children, I still think children deserve that level of protection because that's what they deserve. And I think it's unfortunate that Shakir is experiencing this, and I really do hope that he feels the love and understand that he did something that was extremely incredible. And I know that his parents are fighting for him in whatever way that they can. And then on the flip side, you have Robert John May, who pled guilty to 5 counts of disturbing child material. And I find that, again, like I said, I think children do need protection, but also showing that people don't really care about the safety of your children, and specifically, and I don't always want to say everybody, but I feel like it's safe to say that a lot of individuals in the Republican Party don't care about the safety of your children. And I feel like all of the secrets that have come up from the depths of hell have shown that I don't think that, I think that is a safe thing to assume because of all the information. And again, Mercury and Scorpio, I got the information. You can go look up at plenty of articles that, can reference stories like this, including the Epstein files. And I know for sure, like with those files in particular, a lot of people think that Trump does not want them to come out, but Trump's name is not the only one in those files. So I think that I think that's something to also think about before we kind of solely focus on just Trump's information. This is a big season for journalists and whistleblowers. I think that on TikTok, actually, there's a lot of people who have journalism degrees and they've been able to make their own stream of income, breaking specific information that they have. And to be honest with you, a lot of this information is not difficult to get, which again, I think is very important to note. So, and again, like I said before, we could see more information on the Epstein files. I don't know if this particular transit will be the one where all of this information comes out, but we never know. And so personally, I think that this is a time for journaling and getting into therapy and researching something that's been weighing on you. So if there is something that has been causing you anxiety, it's like, why does this cause me anxiety? What is the root of the situation, and how can I kind of get to the bottom of this so that you can kind of unlock your full potential, basically? Because this particular thing that's causing you anxiety or causing you issues behind the scenes is something that could be blocking you from a lot of your blessings or your desired life. Also, Mercury represents the nervous system, so that's also that connection as well. And again, there's a lot of tools out there for you that can alleviate stress and anxiety, like somatic exercises. I always talk about yoga, and even your therapist can give you tools and stuff like that. Or if you do not have the money at the moment to go to a therapist, maybe looking at licensed therapist on YouTube or something like that. I feel like they always give really great information. You can definitely find quite a few. Like there's the Inner Child Whisperer and Steph Anya are really great ones because they're licensed therapists and they utilize pop culture moments to kind of talk about different things that you might experience on a mental health level, which I think is great. Like Love is like Steph Anya and the Inner Child Whisperer always do Love is Blind, which I haven't watched this next season just yet, but it looks like a hot mess, which I'm ready. But also, again, don't be so quick to jump to conclusions. Just because you think you see the whole picture does not mean that's actually what's happening or that's actually what it is. But also, if you're nosy, this is your time to shine and no judgment. Definitely send me what you know because I would like to see. The last time that Mercury was in Scorpio, we saw major investigative reporting around the 2008 financial crisis. Currently, I think it's still happening. The government is shut down. So, something we could see a lot of information regarding that whole thing. So, I'm not really sure what that means, but 2008 was a very rough year for a lot of people, including myself and my family. So, I'm wishing everybody the absolute best. But like I said, I think the best thing that we could do right now is make sure that we are healing ourselves from the inside out, because you never know what could be blocking you from your desired reality. And also, the world is chaotic anyway, so you might as well, do those little things that you've probably always wanted to do, because why not? But with consent, and it should not be harming children, just to be clear. And also, another historical event is the moments that tied to the fall of Berlin in 1989. So, there's a lot of big themes around truth, exposure, and hidden negotiations, definitely will be coming to light. And, speaking of intensity, we also have a full moon in Aries. So, and again, happening the same day, so there's a lot of intense energy coming in hot. Now that we're in I believe the second week of October, the second full week of October. So the Aries full moons brings a fiery, courageous, and passionate energy. It's like, I want to break free, I want to start fresh, and I need to do something new, like right now. Right now. And Aries can also be very impulsive, so it's a good time to channel that spark into something constructive. And I like to think of it as Aries is lighting a match. And then if you look at all the other fire signs, like Leo is like a roaring fire, a fireplace. And then Sagittarius uses that inner fire to expand outward. So just don't start something new and burn out. You definitely have to nurture it like a fireplace, or even with Sagittarius, doing your research to see how you can expand. Like if you wanted, like Sagittarius is foreign travel. So if you have this spark to travel to another country, do more research to continue building that fire, building that passion and courage to travel elsewhere. And I love, recently I saw this quote from Tyler the Creator, and he said, "Create like a child and edit like a scientist." And I think that is the perfect vibe of the Mercury in Scorpio and the full moon in Aries. Like, you need to be very precise. Also, Aries is ruled by Mars, which is precision and very militant, and can be very strategic. So you can do a lot if you just kind of play your cards right, for sure. And if you're interested, definitely book a reading to see what steps you need to take to make sure that you are moving in the most correct way possible. So that way you don't have to kind of redo specific steps because you were rushing into something impulsively. This full moon is giving you the green light to try new things. And it also could be something very simple as cooking more or getting that coloring book you always wanted. I saw something recently where someone got some toys that they wanted as a child, and now that they have their grown adult money, they can actually purchase it and have a good time. So that, as silly as that might sound, that's actually really healing for your inner child. And when you think about your inner child, which is very Aries coded, actually, Aries has a very childlike energy, because if you've ever seen a toddler, the way that you have to keep them from harming themselves is insane, because they are some of the most courageous beings on this earth. And I think that, again, there's a connection between your inner child and your subconscious mind. They're so interconnected, because if there's specific moments in your childhood where you felt unsafe, your subconscious mind is going to prevent you from doing specific things, because it's like, oh, this might lead to this type of situation. And it's like, actually, it's different now. And I have more information. I know more. I have evolved more. Even now I know how to ask more questions. I can Google. You know what I mean? I'm not a child that was relying on adults to protect me. I can do these things myself. And so I think that's very, great. And again, I think it's definitely time to look for new experiences. And you can definitely use movement and somatic practices, like I said earlier, to release a lot of built up energy. Because again, I think when you kind of are very anxious or nervous or something like that, it's very easy to move impulsively. You can shake, you can dance, you can work out, whatever feels good for you, whatever feels comfortable for you. And if you're holding on to fear or old habits, again, this new moon is definitely going to help you break out of that. And again, the Mercury in Scorpio can help you analyze, why do I keep falling back into these older habits? What is causing it? What's making me anxious in this moment? What's happening around me that makes me feel unsafe? The key is to don't let the fire become a wildfire. You definitely have to contain it and focus it. And again, something like anxiety can cause a wildfire when it comes down to your emotions and them getting out of whack and all that other stuff. So the Aries full moon also coincides with huge collective breakthroughs. And so you think of like the French Revolution, the fall of the Berlin Wall, even the moon landing in 1969. Yeah. Um, and so that tells you that, again, it's very bold, revolutionary energy at this time. So definitely enjoy it. Do some things that, you've probably always wanted to try. Or if you're an adult, use your adult money to get, toys and stuff stuff like that you've always wanted. So October 6th is definitely a big one. Mercury in Scorpio and the full moon in Aries is very deep, it's very fiery, it's going to be revealing a lot, and it's probably going to shake things up collectively and on a personal level as well. So it's definitely your responsibility to investigate your own truth, but also don't be afraid to spark something new. And yeah, just to kind of discover something that you've always wanted to do, because I think it would be extremely enjoyable. And always, feel free to let me know down in the comments, just, how this energy is affecting you. Because again, Mercury in Scorpio loves to spill the tea, and I would love to sip upon said tea. So I hope that you have a lovely week, and I love you. You are loved, you deserve love, and until next time, bye.